Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a quick look at the HP Omen 30L. This is the model GT13-1094. This is a gaming desktop that we just got in the shop. We did a video on an Omen, probably 6 months ago or more, and people seem to really like it a lot. And so when we got this 30L in today, I decided might as well do a video just showcasing what it looks like and go over some of the specs. Some really neat features on this one, especially for the price point, and so I think you're going to really like what you're going to see in today's video. But with that said, let's take a look at the specs first, and then I'll give you a walk around on the chassis itself. So on the specs, the processor, this of course is an AMD Ryzen base, so the processor on this one is a Ryzen 7. You can see there a 5800X, and that is an 8-core processor clocking in at 3.8 gigahertz. Now this one has 32 gigs of RAM. I'm pretty sure that the previous owner upgraded this. Not sure if they did it themselves or if they somehow custom ordered it through HP, but this one does have 32 gigs of RAM, and you'll see that when we take a look inside there. Of course, it's a 64-bit operating system, and this came with Windows 11 Home there. All right, so that is a quick look there in the about, and then you can see on the storage, this one came with a 1 terabyte SSD, and then the previous owner, I believe they added this second 2 terabytes, also an SSD, just a smaller 2.5 conventional style. So I'll show you that when we take a peek inside as well. So altogether, you got a total of 3 terabytes of storage there. And then here's just another view. You can see some of the different components there, the 2 SSDs expanded out there. This one for the graphics has the GeForce RTX 3060 Ti, and this particular one has 8 gigs of dedicated graphics memory there. You can see some of the other components there. If you need to pause it, feel free to do so. And of course, there's that Ryzen 7 5800X processor there. All right, let's take a look at some of the other specs on this one. So it does have a built-in wireless card, and so that's already in there for you as well. And really, I think that's just about all the specs I'm going to show you here. We've just got it hooked up to an external monitor here. But let's take a look at the actual chassis itself and kind of walk around the unit. So kind of first impressions, you can see it's very rectangular. You know, it's got sharp edges, nothing too fancy and ornate along the front bezel there. And, you know, really, I got to hand it to HP for someone that, you know, builds in mass. You know, a lot of systems nowadays, they either go too far on the design and it's just too many pieces of plastic on the front, too much plastic on the bezel, too many curves, too much. But really, HP keeps it pretty simple. You can see right here. And so this is all metal up here. All this kind of decorative cutouts that are here, this is all metal. And I'm pretty sure even this edging here along the front is metal as well. If it's not, it's a very hard plastic. And you can see along the front here, it's just a sheet of glass, probably tempered glass there. And the upper half is opaque. It's all black. But then I don't know if you can make this out in the video, about right here, about halfway down the front, then it's more like translucent, almost like tinted glass. And you can see there that one single fan down there that's lit with an LED going all the way around it. And then you've got this little diamond accent there, that traditional Omen kind of branding there above the front. And that's really it, folks. Along the front, you can see there is a little sticker down there for the processor. But that is it. There's nothing else ornate along the front. You can see, you can kind of see through the sides here on both for the ventilation here, this little cutout. But I mean, there's nothing else going on. It's really clean and just very simple there along the front. So that's what you're going to see when you look at the desktop and you've got it pushed into a computer desk or something like that. Then up top here, if you look real closely, you've got some ports there, and they've labeled these with the speed. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but these two have a 5 next to them, and some of the ones on the back I'll show you have 10. And then up here, of course, you've got your headset jack, your mic jack, and your power button. It's a real small power button with just kind of a push style in out there, and there is not an LED. I'm just putting a shadow here to make sure, but yeah, there is not an LED there or anything to indicate that it's powered on. So really this is going to be your power indicator up on the front there. There's nothing back there by the power button itself. Then as we move over the top, this right here, I'm not sure if this is plastic or metal. If it's plastic, it feels very rigid. It's a harder plastic, but I'm thinking it might be some kind of alloy, some kind of metal there. And of course, this is the ventilation going down into the system there. There is a fan right up here on the top, and that is it for the fans on the top there. We'll show you what that looks like inside. We'll go over to the right side. This side is very plain and simple. Nothing going on here at all besides the metal vent that I showed you earlier. And then this is all one just solid piece of casing here, which is metal, again, painted to match the rest of the casing there. All right, so that's going to be your right side. Let's take a look, though, at the more interesting side, the left side. I think it's what everybody really wants to see. And you can see as I pan down, you're getting a little bit of a reflection on that glass there, but you can kind of see what that looks like there. So this glass is also tempered likely, and it is completely transparent. And so you're seeing all the way into the casing. You're just getting a little bit of that white reflection here on the table as I move about. So that's what you're looking at there. You can see it does kind of have some corners here, kind of cutouts there with a little black trim going around that glass inside there. And then it's of course got the 30L, and it says designed and engineered by HP. And so that is what you're looking at there on the left side. We'll go ahead and take the panel off, the glass panel, so we can get a look inside, and then we'll go around to the back. So one thing that I really like about HP, especially on this Omen, is you don't have to have any tools to get this glass off. It's real simple. They've got a nice big button up here labeled internal access. It's got a little bit of a texture on it, spring loaded, and so you're just going to push in. When you do that, it's going to release this glass. You don't need to slide it or anything like some. It's just going to fold out. So let me see if I can do this one-handed here. I'm going to push in there, and there you go. You can see it just releases, and then it kind of hinges downward, and then you just lift up, just like that. And that's going to come off. We'll just set that off to the side. And so here's a look at inside. We'll just go through all the different components and give you some close-up views so you can see what's going on. Pretty sure, like I said, that this is all original except for the memory and that additional SSD there that we'll take a quick look at here. We'll start down at the power supply down here. So you can see there is an HP branded power supply there. Max power, it says 750 watts there. All right, so this is the 80 plus platinum model. All right, then going down, let me see if I can get you some views underneath the graphics card there. There's not a whole lot going on, but there is a wireless card. Let's see if I can get low enough here so you can see in there. There is a wireless card that is tucked up in there. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to see it. It's kind of hidden behind the graphics card there. A little controller there where some of the LEDs, I believe, come together. Some of the different SATA ports come together there for the motherboard. And that is about it underneath there. Then we go up to the graphics card. One thing I do like about this setup is they provision this support here for the graphics card. Believe it or not, we see a lot of gaming desktops in the shop here that don't have something like this. And even just in the transit, the shipping to us, you know, maybe it was from across the country, this card is subjected to so much force that ends up, you know, breaking the tabs off there, maybe rendering the card completely useless. And so I really like it when I see these supports on the graphics cards. It really helps them stay secure in transit. And two, even if you don't have this and you're not shipping it, you don't want this flopping around. You want it nice and solid there. All right, so again, this one here is the GeForce RTX, and it is the 3060 Ti. Again, 8 gigs of dedicated memory there, and you can see how this one's all designed there. We'll take a look at the back here in just a minute. And it's got some more different finishes there on the top of the graphics card, and you can see the fins there and the heat sink and everything. Fairly compact card, you can tell. All right, so that's the graphics card, and then just above the graphics card right here, you can see the SSD, and that's the main storage, the 1 terabyte. And if you need to pause it to get that model, feel free to do so. And then we'll just kind of keep moving up there so you can see the memory, the 32 gigs of RAM. So I think most of these I've seen come with only 16 gigs of RAM. So like I said, the owner bought the memory to add it up to 32, or somehow they configured it from HP. So it kind of looks nice to see all those slots filled up. And these are the HyperX Fury memory chips. They're DDR4. All right, and then directly next to the memory, you can see the processor there and the liquid cooling on this particular one. It's got kind of a HP Omen cooler on top of it. I'm not sure who actually makes the cooler for HP, but you can see it is branded Omen. And then you've got the cooling lines running up to the top to the radiator. And I'll try to give you some different angles so you can see what's going on up top there. So it's got that single fan up there. And again, on top of the casing, I'll pan up here in just a minute, all that is open and ventilated so that all that air can freely exhaust out of there. And this is, the computer's been on for probably about a half hour or so, and I can feel the warmth. So I mean, it is getting all that air out of the top there. Plenty of ventilation there. And by the way, this is not removable. You know, a lot of gaming desktops nowadays have something removable like a filter, something magnetic up top. This is all part of the casing. There's no break or anything. And so if you need to clean this, if you get any dust or anything up there, you're gonna have to take it apart. It's probably gonna take a little bit more time than some of the other units. All right, then if we pan over to the right side, give you some more close-up views in here. And you can see just over to the front of the casing here, that SATA connector. And that is where the second SSD was added. This one's a 2 terabyte. And it's kind of dark in there, so I'm not sure you can see that too well. But you can see the connectors at least. They do provision the slot there to add that 2.5-inch drive. And then let's see, we've got another slot down here. Actually, really, it looks like the way they've designed it, you can add either 2 3.5-inch drives here, 1 and 2, or 2 2.5-inch drives. And it looks like, let's see if I can see, it looks like the adapters are included. Yeah, it's got some kind of a plate right here that I'm seeing. These are probably quick release. You just kind of, just pull these guys out. But it's got the adapter here that's part of that pull-out tray that will adapt to either a 2.5 like you've got up here or a 3.5-inch drive. So that's kind of nice. And then you've already got the power and SATA connectors if you were to add a second drive down there, or a third drive rather. So that's kind of nice that they provisioned all that for you. You can see the cable management's pretty basic. I mean, there's not a whole lot of cables that are visible down underneath the graphics card. You can see you've got some stuff down there. Yeah, there's probably some systems out there that do a little bit better job with the cable management down there, but it's not so bad. And everything's black, so it kind of blends in. And then you've got these cables up here. You probably noticed the LED lighting. So of course the RAM sticks have their own LEDs going on up there. And then, I always like the way that HP lights up their systems. It just kind of looks really nice in the end, nice and clean. And so from what I can tell, you've got an LED kind of tucked up under this top on the left side of the casing here, kind of tucked under this top that's shining. You can see as I move my finger along, shining along this entire front section and kind of casting light back into the case there. And it just makes kind of a nice, soft, ambient light source. You don't really see the LED itself, but you see the light casting back there. And looks like it just went to sleep. There we go. And so it is kind of a nice lighting. You don't have any lights on this fan. What you're seeing here is just the light reflecting from the top here, going back to this fan. And of course, the graphics card has its own LED light there. And then you've got a separate LED on this front fan that I showed you earlier. And so really it's just this LED here, then your power accent, the RTX, and then the main LED that's all the way up along the top there. And so that in a nutshell is what you're looking at there inside the casing. I'll just pull out so you can kind of see again what everything looks like. You can see the memory sticks are kind of rotating among different colors there. And otherwise, everything else in the case is the same color. Let's take a look at the back side, give you an idea of what the ports look like from the factory. You can see how that light kind of just trickles through this rear exhaust fan. But yeah, let's take a look at the back. So of course at the top, like I showed you earlier, is that access switch to open the right side. It is spring loaded. It's got a really nice feel to it. Then you've got your, hey, look at that, a Kensington security slot right there to lock your stuff down. And then on the back, you've got in the motherboard, the integrated audio ports right there. And then you've got USB ports. I'll just pull out our mouse there. So you've got some standard speed down here and Ethernet, of course. And then these are the other USB ports I was telling you about that are labeled. So you can see you've got at the top there a USB-C that's got a 10 next to it, and then a standard USB that's got a 10, and then this one's a 5, and then a 5. So different speeds there. It's nice that they kind of label those. Just looks real clean. And then going down, you can see the graphics card. You've got one HDMI, and then 1, 2, 3 DisplayPort connectors there. And so we've got it hooked up through DisplayPort right now. And then you've got below that 1, 2 slots that are empty. Of course, this one up here is part of the graphics card, so that one is in use. But you do have 2 more slots down here, which, by the way, I don't think I showed you what those expansion slots look like. Let me see if I can get you a closer view in here. There you go. So you actually have really just one slot down there that you can actually make use of here. This one, I guess, they kind of left blank for airflow or whatnot. So you could do another card down there, just a single, but that is it as far as expansion down there. All right. It is nice that they left on the slots, gave you some ventilation there instead of just a solid plate, of course. And then you've got your power supply down here. There is not a dedicated switch on the power supply down here. Sometimes you'll see that on the more custom units that are more one-offs, but HP opted to not have any extra power switch down here, and probably to not confuse other users, because they start turning the computer on the front and nothing happens. They don't realize there's a secondary power switch back on the power supply. So this one does not have that. Just plugs in with a standard 3-prong power cable right there. All right, so that is a walk around on the chassis on this particular unit. Hey, do us a favor and let us know in the comments below 3 things that you like about this HP Omen, this 30L, and 3 things that you dislike. It'd be really interesting to see, and good feedback for the manufacturer. So again, let us know in the comments below 3 things that you like about it and 3 things that you dislike. I think my favorite thing about this particular system is really just the overall design, the aesthetics. And folks, this one is secondhand, but we're going to be pricing it probably just north of $1,000, which I think is a pretty good value considering everything that you're getting with the upgraded memory, the RAM there, and that second SSD, 2 terabyte for a total of 3 terabytes. So I really think it's a great value, just north of $1,000. Again, we'll be putting up for sale here shortly on our website. Now, for those who aren't familiar with JBrokers, we are a risk-free secondhand marketplace. And so if you've got something like a custom gaming desktop, or perhaps even something more simple and basic like an iPhone or an Android phone, and you're looking to sell it, rather than expose yourself to the risk and hassle of eBay or Facebook Marketplace, where you might get a buyer that turns out to be a scam later on, and then you're out the money and you've already shipped the product out, we're a great alternative to folks that don't want to deal with that risk and hassle. 2 things that our customers love most about JBrokers are, first off, we always pay the agreed upon amount for the agreed upon item, period. There's no bait and switch gimmicks ever. That's our pledge, our promise for over 20 years, and it's the same today. And the second thing that our customers love is that we always send out payments on the next business day after we receive your item, rain or shine, doesn't matter what's going on in the world. So if you're looking to sell something, definitely check our website out at jaybrokers.com. That's jaybrokers.com. We've got over 3,000 products in our database that you can get an instant cash offer on 24/7 from the convenience and safety of your home. So definitely check us out, jaybrokers.com. Again, that's jaybrokers.com. Thanks for watching.